welcome to episode 86 of TerrorVision Horror Podcast, the Spoilercast. We've had a couple of weeks off because I can't remember what it was. COVID. Let's just blame COVID. I'm one of your hosts, Dan McGuinness, and joining me on my midnight meat train is my co-host, Jennifer the Dream Warrior Strand. Toot toot. Toot toot lady. Yes, every fortnight, Jennifer and I set ourselves a horror movie to watch, and then we go through it scene by scene and spoil the fuck out of it. It's wicked. It's a deep dive into glorious gore, hard edits, cheesy acting, directing madness, severed wangs, and compound fractures. Together, we are two people who love horror, and we feel the burn of our obsolete blockbuster / Movieland / Focus Video /
Video Easy.
Alpha Video. Do you remember Alpha?
I remember Alpha,
That
yes.
big warehouse one? Memberships.
Yes.
We just want to mention just quickly that we are in development of making some new TerrorVision t-shirts.
Oh, yes.
The public spoke and we listened. They were like, make more t-shirts. And then they were like, we hate these ones. And then we're like, okay, we'll make different ones then.
Public are very vocal.
I know. And we have two coming out at the moment. One called Roadshow, which is a homage to the old Roadshow video covers.
Yep, it's awesome. I love
ones
it.
that we used to sit in the video shop and look at and stare at, and you turn over the back and there's fucking no pictures. This is advertising more road shows. Is that what they were?
Yeah.
They were, yeah.
Yeah.
Fuckheads. And the other one is called Severed, which is like homaging one of our favourite things, a severed wang.
Yeah. Oh, I love this shirt so much.
I like I can't remember his name on the Instagram. Like he didn't quite look at it close enough. One of the people on Instagram, and they're like, why is there like a half-eaten donut on there? And he's like, that's a dick.
Actually, yeah, it could have been a half-eaten jelly donut and all the jellies come out of it.
Yeah.
Like, it's
that's
fine.
grosser to me.
I freaking love that shirt so much, and it's strange how much I love it.
I know, and it's great how much everyone else doesn't love it, because it takes a brave man to wear a severed penis on a t-shirt.
It'll take a very brave lesbian to do it too.
Oh, shit.
I'm gonna do it.
Anyhow, we have a rating system. So, you're not left with your severed dick in your hand or
on your shirt.
Or splattered across your t-shirt. What is our rating system, Jen?
All right, so for everybody playing at home, we have A, awesome, everybody should watch. B is our beer and chicken wing group movie. F is fun and dumb. C is a classic that's worth a watch. U is underrated. O, an overrated motherfucker. G, good for its time but is not held up. We've got the J, Jen special, which is a D grade movie only I would like. We've also got the D, Dan special, a movie with lots of practical effects, dismemberments, and dicks.
Severed dicks.
Severed dicks. Any kind of dick, really. We've got the W, whatever. We've got the Kesha, low budget hot mess. C minus, craft is stellar, but I hate the content. And of course, we have the McConaughey. The fucking fucked. We watched it. You don't have to.
And this week, under your choice, Jennifer, is we watched Alligator from 1980.
Yes. It is directed by Louis Teague, screenplay by John Sayles. It stars Robert Forrester, Robin Riker, and Michael V. Garzo.
Some of these dudes went on to have quite a career of just cops.
Yes.
And they just played a cop.
Yeah.
Like the chief of police in this was one of the best chief of police I've ever seen.
Yes,
like,
he was.
I didn't actually write much about him in it because in my notes, but like he was just like that gruffly voice yelling. Have you written bits about him?
He's just sounds like he's drunk a bottle of whiskey before he gets to work.
And gravel.
He's smoked a pack of cigarettes.
And his eyebrows were so out of control. He was like John Howard idolized this dude. Like, man.
Definitely. So this movie had a budget of $1.7 million and the US box office return was 6.4. So it is a success.
Yeah, nice.
Yes.
What's its tagline?
What's its tagline? It lives 50 feet beneath the city. It's 36 feet long. It weighs 2,000 pounds. And it's about to break out.
Break out.
A baby alligator. Jailbreak. Tonight it's gonna be a jailbreak. A baby alligator is flushed down a toilet and survives by eating discarded lab animals that have been injected with growth hormones. The now gigantic animal escapes the city sewers and goes on a rampage pursued by cops and a big game hunter.
So, just to start this. When I was younger... Quick story, I had a kidney disease. The drugs I took stunted my growth, and so I was given the opportunity to take growth hormone, which I did. For 3 years, I injected myself every day through high school in the morning, and I was afraid of injections. It doesn't matter. If you eat growth hormone, I'm pretty sure it doesn't make you do anything.
Well, you should have been eating the lab animals.
Well, maybe they were super lab animals anyhow.
Maybe.
I always remember, like, people at my school was like, why don't you inject it into your dick and get a massive dick? And I asked my doctor, and he said, that's not how it works. So glad he didn't say yes, otherwise I'd have a very...
That's teen logic, that is.
Teen logic.
Teen logic.
Teen Logic is my new TV show coming out on Netflix.
Yes, please, 2023. All right, so this film starts off in a gator farm. It's just like one of those Florida-based gator farm shows.
It's the most ghetto version of a gator farm.
Which
Actually,
is
this
a
whole
gator
film
farm.
is the most ghetto version of policing.
Yes.
Like everything like is like so just because I'm gonna start out. This whole film is like someone who doesn't know they're making something about something. They don't know anything about that thing. They haven't researched it and they're just doing what they think it's like.
Yeah.
That's what this film is.
Yeah, they just watched a bunch of cop films and they were like, you know what, I could do that.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Anyhow, so we're in a ghetto backwater gator show.
It's this guy, he's showing off, like, this is the gator, it's huge. And then, of course, he trips and he falls into the water. The gator gets him and death rolls him, and the crowd thinks it's fake, and people are coming in to try and rescue him.
Like the high professionals or the professionals come in and start hitting it with broomsticks.
Yes, so that is the professional thing to do.
But I actually thought the crowd didn't react to that bad. Can you imagine the lawsuit these days, or just like the logistics of like you work as a gator farm and you just get your leg bitten off and everyone just comes out, hits it with sticks, and a crowd just kind of goes, ooh.
Damn.
He gets carried off with minus a leg, and then all else, and no one like cares. They're just like, oh yeah.
It's like, oh, was that it? But I guess you pay to see someone, get their leg ripped off at a gator show in backwater Florida.
Yeah. And then we get introduced to our first character, which is a little girl. That's all I've named her, is Little Girl. And she seems to be an expert in gators.
Yeah, she likes a gator. So she's like, oh, rather than hitting it with sticks, if you turn it on its belly, it'll fall asleep.
And I went, yeah, they didn't really have time to turn it on its belly.
There's a guy in its mouth. It's not really going to,
Yeah.
Anyway, that's fine.
Anyhow, we cut to, like, later on after the show, and there must be a pet vendor there, and they're selling baby alligators to the public.
Why?
I
Why?
know. You don't go to Steve Irwin's zoo, whatever it's called, Bindi Irwin Zoo, and they sell you crocodiles.
No. No. Like, yeah, okay, it's little tiny baby gators. They start out really tiny and small and cute. But people need to be aware that these things grow to, like...
Yeah, that's like going to the
what
circus.
What are you going to do with it in, like, 10 years when it's huge?
Exactly. It's like going to the circus and them selling you lion cubs. Like, and go, it'll be fine.
Yeah, no, you'll be right.
Which I'm sure they do in Dubai. But, like,
probably,
not here.
yeah.
Not in Florida.
Actually, no, probably in Florida, too.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Makes sense, yeah.
And they buy a gator. And this is a real little tiny... gator,
Yeah.
it's tiny,
so
it's very cute.
It's very cute.
And and she takes it home, she puts it in an aquarium, she teaches it about catching the bus and going to school.
Yeah.
Via.
Yeah, it's fine. She's very excited. She's got this little cute pet gator.
She's more borderlining on being obsessed with alligators.
Yeah.
And reptiles. Anyhow, then, for some reason, she goes off to school.
Yeah.
And did you get confused by this next scene?
I was very confused.
Her dad runs down the stairs and is just furious at something.
Yeah.
And goes, where's that baby gator? Let's get rid of it. And I'm like, what happened?
Yeah, he just comes down the stairs, like, absolutely, like, screaming about what, I don't even know what.
But didn't he buy it for her?
He did. They bought it. Like, why would you, like, why would you buy it? The word no exists. Parents understand.
Well, not even that. I don't even understand why he was angry.
No, I have no idea.
It was like a whole scene was missing, and maybe it was. Mm-hmm. Anyhow, he gets angry, the dad. He grabs the gator, and he flushes it down the dunny.
No.
Woo! And, and we all know what's going to happen now.
Yeah, we get this cute little montage of a baby gator going down the drains and into the sewer, and it's really cute.
He just pops out of a pipe into the sewer and goes... Like, they actually flushed him down a pipe and plopped him into the sewer.
And he's like he's still really cute. No gators were harmed in the making of this film. I don't know that.
Bull fucking shit.
Yeah, I don't think that's an accurate thing.
I actually think later on I've mentioned that I think they actually have dead dogs in this film.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
Yes.
Cut to 12 years later. We have a thing, and it's 12 years later now.
And we are introduced to a man in a pet shop, and he's picking up a puppy. And he's explaining that his last puppy he had was stolen, like right outside the front of the shop. Don't know why. And strange, very peculiar. And the pet shop owner, who is also really creepy, he's like, oh, yeah, like that happens. You should, did you call the cops? And he's like, I am the cops.
Dun, dun, dun.
So we're
Pet shop owner's like,
introduced.
whoa.
Yeah, so he gets a little bit suspicious. He's just a weird, creepy.
So this character, this is our main character.
Yeah.
This is Super Cop, aka Cop.
Yeah, detective.
Detective. If you want to get a visualization of what he looks like, he's like a young Columbo.
Yeah.
If you remember what Columbo
Yep.
looks like. I think he's the same nationality. He's got pitch black hair, short hair. He's got that Columbo face, but younger. He's wearing a T-shirt with holes in the front.
Yes.
And I called him the disheveled cop at first.
Yeah.
So that's it. He's our hero. He's our anti-hero. He is the Bruce Willis, the alcoholic cop that every man can associate with,
Yeah. Yeah, we're sort
Who
of a
buys
little bit
dog?
like...
Who needs a dog for some reason all the time?
Yeah, well, maybe it's
Someone
a
stole my
therapy
dog, and now I'm buying a new puppy. Yeah.
So we then cut to a sewage plant.
This was very quick, some of these scenes.
Oh, yeah, it's fantastic. This film chugs along nicely. So we cut to a sewage plant, and they're pulling parts of a body out of what they call a sludge tank. They also explain that at some point they had found some kind of fancy dog also in the tank, and it was like I don't know what the fuck the dog is, but it's like
Expensive
rare.
breed.
Yeah, expensive breed.
This scene just cut there, right? And there was no explanation on what was going on.
No.
It was just like, is he investigating it? Because there was no crime kind of scene vibes happening. It was just him chatting with an arm in his hand. He's just holding it going like, so we got this arm.
Yeah.
I'm like, is it a real arm? Or is it prosthetic? I thought they'd found a prosthetic arm.
It's like, oh, these kids back in here again, like just throwing arms into this sludge tank. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. And I was like, okay, cool. So I guess that, they're being... The cop got called down because there's arms in the sewer.
Yep.
But everyone was very casual.
Oh, it's so casual. What I like about this scene, though, is I don't know if you've seen the film Lake Placid, which
No.
is 1999.
I know of it, yeah.
I love that film. But this is referenced in that film, and I had a bit of a giggle because he's like, there's this scene where he's like, oh, yeah, once we just found a toe. That's all we found, like just a toe in the morgue, and it was like a toe, and they had a funeral for it, and they buried it and everything. And in Lake Placid, he like finds this toe, and he picks it up, and he's like, is this your friend? And he's like, he seemed taller. I'm like, yes.
So they're going to get a tiny coffin for the toe.
Yeah. Toe coffin.
Anyhow, we cut later on, we see the same pet shop owner driving around, and I thought he was like maybe... At first I thought, was it a pet shop or was it just the pound? Because we never explained. I thought, oh, maybe he's a dog catcher.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
No.
He's a pet shop owner that dodgily goes around and steals your dog. Oh, maybe that's where Super Cop's dog went. Mm-hmm. Every man's cop.
Every man's
And
cop.
he catches a dog. He grabs it, got a collar, he doesn't care, dumps it in the back of his truck.
Yep.
He's like, fuck yeah, got a dog.
Also has...
Wait, at this point, I thought he's just stealing dogs and reselling them back to people.
Yeah, I thought that too.
And I'm sure pet shops would do that, eh?
Yeah, I'm really not, surprised if that's the thing. So the detective, he goes off and he talks to the woman, the owner of the dead dog, the fancy breed dog, and she was explaining that it could be her dog, but when it went missing, it was a hell of a lot smaller. So
It was only like 4 weeks ago.
This dog's huge. Like it.
He goes,
but it's the same dog.
It
It's
is my
got the
dog.
same markings.
Yeah.
It's everything like that.
It's
but-
doubled in size in 3 weeks, and that is scientifically not possible, ma'am.
No, not possible unless something else
There
is
is just a
involved.
at this point, a bunch of just confused looking people like going, what do you mean? Like, there's a lot of confused people in this movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyhow, then we cut to, we go back to dog catcher or dog stealer or pet shop man, whatever you want to call him, and he has gone into a pharmaceutical company. And he's gone in there and he's talking to a young pharmaceutical scientist who is busy doing experiments.
Yeah, he's very busy with his experiments. He's very busy poking at dead
dogs. And then we get the realization that the pet shop owner is now stealing dogs, so this guy can do pharmaceutical experiments on them. Bum, bum, bum.
And he needs more puppies. All his response
He
to
keeps
anything
on
is
going,
more puppies. He's
goes-
like, but I've got a parrot. He's like, more puppies.
Yeah, he goes, they have to be puppies.
They
I'm
must
do
be
they?
puppies.
I suppose they would, because growth hormone only works while your bones are still growing, while they're still open.
But, I mean, there's many other things that you could use, right?
No, puppies.
Yeah.
Get me puppies.
More puppies.
It's because puppies are the most cutest thing, and they wanted you to really not like this character.
And it worked.
Yeah, so
It worked. But then he makes so this is a giant medical facility. This is a testing lab, but the scientist then makes the pet shop owner take all of the
failed experiment, because he keeps on going, I'm so close to like breaking through. Yeah, but he just puts all the failed experiment, because they're doing it illegally, because they obviously lost their funding.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the pet shop owner puts all the dogs in some garbage bags, dumps them into a trolley.
Yeah.
And guess where he dumps them?
Oh, I don't know. I've got a suspicion it is in the sewer.
It's in the sewer. And I
Damn.
watched this scene, and they're dumping these dogs, and it showed them, and I was like, as I said, is that a real dead dog? And I thought, this is the 80s.
Yeah.
And I was like, they looked so real, and nothing else looked real in this film. Actually, no, it's not true.
That's not true.
But I'm like, let's just not assume that they weren't real dead dogs.
Yeah, that's what I had to do. I had to just
There's a lot of maggots in
it's
dead
these
animals.
are really good fake dogs.
Uh-oh.
Whoever's made all these fake dogs should be given an award for fake dog making.
It's true.
So he's throwing bags of discarded dog pieces into the water, and he's kicking it around, and unfortunately one goes over but doesn't quite land in the water. But this is also the sewer. No one's going down there. So at any point he could just be like, yeah, oh well, and walk off. But no, he decides he needs to go down and he needs to just kick this little thing into the water.
Into the water.
But of course, we see the eyes.
Okay, we get a shot of a real gator.
Yep.
I didn't write alligator. I wrote gator every time in my
same.
notes, because it's just too long of a word.
I like this as well, because there were two shot sequences. So it's the first is its eyes sort of open, and then its eyes open. So
they got two eyelids.
Little gator shield comes down and you see its eyes. So something is down there.
It's a gator.
And now it's awake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, don't want me up. Oh, you want my dogs. Excellent. And then we get a POV shot to the Jaws music.
Yeah. It's off.
It's one
Jaws.
note different. So,
we can't get sued if we do this.
So, and then we see, we get this POV shot of clearly the gator cruising up to the pet shop owner behind him, and an attack, and cut away. We assume he's dead.
Well, we assume he's dead because we see a severed leg kind of just floating.
Float off, and then we cut to pet shop to Super Cop.
Yeah.
It's obviously probably the next day. They found another leg, and who does it belong to? It is the pet shop owners.
Yes, well, because they found kitty litter in his sock.
True.
Yeah, they're like, oh, do we know whose leg it could be? It doesn't match the other part of the body that we found. He's like, nah, this had kitty litter in the sock. He's like, dun, dun, dun.
Is this are they in a lab at the moment?
No, they were in the
sewer.
Yeah,
back to the sewer, yeah.
The treatment plant or something. So the detective now, he goes over to the science lab and he starts questioning the guy, who is still very busy.
Why did he go to the science lab at this point? Yeah, what made him go there? Was it something like I think it's maybe they found traces of a drug or something, but there was no reason I could see why he went to see the pharmaceutical guy, apart from the fact he's the only science guy he knows in town.
Yeah. So all the science people in Florida are all located in this one room. He goes and he's having a conversation. The science guy, he's really busy. He's trying to fob him off.
And the cop isn't suspicious of them at the moment. He's just trying to get his head around what's going on. But the guy's the young pharmaceutical scientist is like, oh, fuck.
And he's so sketchy as well. He's just, I want him to die so bad. But yeah, he's super sketchy, and he's like, it's very quiet in here. And he explains that they do horrible things to the dogs so that they don't bark.
Yeah. And then it shows a dog that has had that happen to it.
Yeah. Except they just kind of turned the sound down.
They cut their larynx.
Yeah, I don't like that. And he's like, well, what do you do when you run out of animals? And the guy's like, shifty-eyed. He's like,
He goes, our research stops. It's happened before.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. So the cop asks him some questions and gets nothing.
Yeah.
And he leaves.
So
he's not suspicious of anything. He's just
he's just, he's pretty done with his job. He's not a good cop. So the scientist, he reports back to the head of the company.
The old boss, old pharmaceutical.
He's old. He kind of looks like some old gross guy.
He kind of looks like what you'd think an old guy that owns a pharmaceutical company would look like. He has no hair, whatever.
Yeah.
He has liver spots on his head. He's like...
He's
and
Mr. Burns.
Smug as fuck, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's
just
gross.
like... Because he basically he owns this town. They're big pharma.
Yeah.
They're like... And this actually is like early days big pharma conspiracy
it
bullshit.
really is. And because like this scientist, he's starting to get really, really worried. And the guy's just
And
like...
he's a young scientist who is also... His future son-in-law.
I thought he was also could have been his lover, but that's just me. But
No, they actually have the wedding later.
I know. He's like, but we don't have to worry about the cops. We don't have to worry about the journalists because I run this town. And he's like, you got nothing to worry about, mate. Except
we know that, who runs this town now? Fucking Gator.
Yeah, Gator runs the town.
Gatorade. He's going to take care of everything.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Young evil scientist, go back to your work and keep doing shit.
Keep being evil. So the detective he's back at the cop shop and he's walking and talking with who is the chief of the police.
Chief of police.
He's getting, changed into a better shirt and a better jacket and, he's having this very little conversation about heading into a press conference and he doesn't want to do it. He clearly doesn't like journalists. He doesn't want to do it.
The chief of police, you have to paint a picture for this dude. He is a balding man, but he's got, the hair on the side.
Yeah.
That look.
He's got like first season Frasier hair.
Yes, first season Frasier hair. Yeah. He has the most wildest eyebrows in the history. It's like he's gelled them up wicked. And he has a moustache and he wears a beige suit. And he yells. He's one of those, they have parodies of this shit now.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what are you doing over there? Go do this and get out of here, you bloody bird.
You're off the case.
You're off the case. He is that character and he's wicked. Yeah. And he is in a constant flux of confusion.
Yeah.
He never knows what's going on, why anything's happening. And anyhow, they rock up to the press conference on the bodies.
Yep.
It's fucking a mess. This is not how press conferences go. You just don't go in there with no plan.
Yeah, a lot of it is just like no comment, and they're asking him questions. And then we get, of course, we always get that one super asshole journalist who starts asking the cop. He's like, well, you had an incident with your partner and your partner died. And it's like, well, what has that got to do with anything?
It was so irrelevant to
sure.
Like the chief of police at that stage should have come in and gone, that has nothing to do with this investigation. Like, why would you even be asked that? So we're forcefully told the past of Super Cop.
Yep.
That he had a partner who got shot and everyone blames him or some shit.
So then we get this really awesome star wipe.
Yeah.
To all these other like papers, like the local rags reporting on like, local cop fumbles on severed arm or something. It's all these like fucking things, which is great because I was just like, star wipe.
It's always like there's nothing happening in this town so much that they just have to fixate onto the most bullshit stories.
Yeah.
Arm found.
So the detective, he starts looking for volunteers to help him in the sewers. He's planning on going down there. He's planning on having a look around. He's going to investigate. But also, it's funny to we didn't mention at any point that there is a theme of him balding in this.
Balding, yeah.
Like,
so he's thinning out on top.
There is this running joke throughout the whole movie. So because the pet shop owner makes a comment about it to him while he's in the pet store. Because why would you?
But everyone mentions his slight balding.
It comes up again in this scene. And it's like, why is this a theme?
It's totally irrelevant. Do you know what? I looked this actor up and he's old now, obviously.
Yes. Well, he's
and he
dead
still
now.
has the, but even in his last parts of his life, he still has that exact haircut and he is still balding at the front. Like it never took over for him.
No. Robert Forrester, he's great. No one wants to
work with a guy that's balding
because he's balding. Yeah, it's got nothing to do with the fact that his partner was shot and something happened, and no one trusts him and no one wants to work with him. But anyway,
and he's just about to leave to get ready, and all of a sudden, this young guy comes into the police station. He's like, I didn't want to say that. I murdered people and threw them into the sewer, and they're all just like, the cops are so they're just like, whatever, crazy dude.
He's like, did you now?
He pulls his jacket open. Of course, he has a bomb strapped to him with a big digital timer.
No, that digital timer, it's like 2 minutes or something.
The cops just grab him. And this is like such a crap scene. They just decide right there and then that they're just going to disarm the bomb. Like, these are just dudes.
Yeah, just cops. Everyday cops.
Anyhow, they disarm the bomb, and then they realise that it's not even a bomb, it's just an alarm clock radio.
Yeah.
And I just wrote in my notes, why is this even in the fucking film?
Yeah.
I think it was just to show that the super cop is good under pressure.
Well, yeah,
or
because
some
he's
shit.
pretty much just like, yeah, whatever. And
Nothing
he's
left
like,
to lose.
look, I don't care. You can fucking blow up this place. It's going to solve all my problems. You go ahead. And he's like, just goes to walk out the door and just kind of goes, huzzah, and grabs him. It's like the element of surprise.
Anyhow, so Super Cop has now got his partner, Kid Cop.
Yep.
Well, I called him.
I called him Rookie.
Rookie Cop.
Blonde-haired, blue-eyed, fresh out of the
academy.
Yep. Thank you.
And they go down to the sewer together, just the two of them. Because that's how cops work.
It's true. They're walking around. It's like normal, basic chit-chat,
They come into a room which is full of gas, and he's like, look out, methane gas. I once saw this explode. And I'm like, bet that comes back later. And then I'm like, that line just tells me exactly how this film's going to end.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, yeah, cool.
It's the blob.
So there's a fart room. Down there.
He's like, put on your mask and don't light a match.
And you can see it. It's like smoke. And I'm pretty sure methane, you don't see farts come out.
It'd be a lot funnier.
Oh, man, the world would be so much better if farts were visually, you could see them. Like,
yeah.
You'd be able to see if your fart has actually hit someone's face and gone in and stayed on their face.
Yeah, and then who's who's dealt it.
Yeah, that'd be good as well.
And it would be great,
Anyhow, Super Cop loses Kid Cop somehow.
Yeah.
Straight away.
Just pretty much immediately.
They're separated.
We get this POV, something's down there following them. It's the Gator. We know it's the Gator. Gator pops up. At this point, he's walked around a corner. We hear this small splash, and the detective realizes that the rookie's gone. So he's like,
Rookie?
And
Kid Cop, where are you?
He walks back and he jumps down to where he last saw him, and they're having a look around.
He's having a look around,
and
then we get a POV shot from behind the cop.
Yeah,
and so to the
fake Jaws.
Yeah, the Jaws music that they paid $5 to make, and he comes up, and all we see is a big hand come up and slap fucking Super Cop on the bum.
We get some grab ass in, yeah.
And then it's a big joke to slap someone on the bum. What?
It's like, I touched your bottom.
It was like a grab slap as well.
He had some cheek in hand.
It was just such a weird scene. They were trying to make it a cool scene, but I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
This scene's really good, though, because they're standing there having this conversation, and he's like, someone's recently been here. And
how do you know that? But you're cool.
But he's got the torch, and of course, so they're standing there having this conversation, and then just up to the right of them, you see the Gator's head
in a pipe, yeah.
In a pipe, just sort of
right in the background,
like turning and sort of fades back into the dark. And I'm like, that's fucking good.
Yeah, there are some really cool Gator usage in this. Anyhow, they kind of walk down a tunnel, and all of a sudden, bang! Out of something pops out Gator head, which is a gigantic big prop of a Gator head, which looks great.
It does look great.
And I was like, oh, that looks great. And this thing is huge. It is like, how big is that? Like this.
That's pretty big. So Dan's got his hands outstretched.
Yeah, the Gator's head is huge, bigger than any Gator's head has been up until this date.
Yeah.
Like a prehistoric Gator. They never mentioned that it just could have been a prehistoric one.
Yeah, that could have been cool. The rookie gets whacked with a tail. They make her run for it. The Gator's in pursuit. They come to this ladder that's going to lead up to a manhole, and they're climbing up. They're trying to get out. Detective, he's pushing on the manhole, but it's too late because the Gator grabs the rookie and drags him off, and then everything just goes silent.
It's like he's lost another partner, and it's just we see him go, no!
Yeah, this is clearly a little bit more trauma for him,
It's Darth Vader yelling no all over again. And the cop wakes up in hospital. Where am I? I must have fainted?
Yeah. It's
he was in a manhole. If he'd fainted, he would have fallen down and gotten eaten. So he must have gotten out and then fainted.
Yeah, the nurse explains what happened. She's like, oh, he came out of this manhole screaming alligator.
What could have been down there?
An alligator?
Maybe. Anyhow, the journalist rocks up, gives the cop some grief. That same journalist before, the same journalist that hates the cop for some reason, gives him more grief. Guess you lost another partner, motherfucker.
Yeah.
And shit like that. And so you meant, we have to hate this guy, so therefore he's going to die.
Yeah, good.
And then the chief of police is in there not doing anything.
No.
Like, he could have, stood up for him or some shit like that. He just goes, no comment.
Yeah, he's just standing. That's all he's allowed to say. He's not allowed to say anything else. That's how he's programmed.
Okay. And then we cut to Chief and Super Cop. They go to visit reptile scientist lady.
Yep, the doctor at the university.
Is that what she was? I didn't catch that.
Yeah, she is a doctor at the university.
Specialising in reptiles.
She's specialising in reptiles.
We're in a lab again.
So she's the expert.
The expert, yeah.
Yes. She's basically like, look, there is no way there is no sunlight, there is no this, there's no that, there is no way that anything could survive down there.
Let alone grow bigger than...
Or grow to over 15 feet, which you are stating that this
There's so many naysayers in it. So no one at this point believes him that there was a crocodile down there. They're like, nah, there can't be. Scientist lady said there can't be. There isn't. And he's like, fucking sorry, guys.
It's like, nobody's believing me. This is bullshit. And of course, journalist has just printed something in the paper saying that the detective has lost another partner and this doesn't look good for the chief of police. And then we cut to the locker room and there's like that standard locker room talk. They're reading this article and they're all having a bit of a chit chat.
Or a laugh at his expense kind of thing.
He kind of walks in, he opens up his locker. They've hung a little gator
a little
toy
rubber
in
gator,
it.
yeah. They're giving him the shit. He obviously isn't part of them.
No, he's not
No
part
one
of
wants to have a partner of a guy who's lost a partner. Maybe that is a police thing.
Possibly.
Who knows? Anyway, we cut back to journalist. He questions some nurses, and the nurses are like, he was just yelling something about a gator in the sewer, and the journalist is like, gator, sewer. I know where I'll investigate next.
So
cut to journalist in the sewer already.
So he's in the sewer. He's taking some photos.
He's setting up
shots. But this also reminded me of there's another VHS movie that popped up, 1994.
Called Sewer Journalist?
No, it's the anthology film VHS. So they've just done VHS 1994. And there's this one really cool segment, and it's like this journalist that's investigating like homeless people in the sewers. But it turns out there's like this creature, Ratma. So it's all hail Ratma, and she comes across it. It was really good.
Is it a rat? Is it a king rat?
It's kind of a king rat, yeah.
Like, as in, king rats are so good.
But yeah, it's like this journalist that goes
Sounds
into
like the Midnight
sewer.
Meat Train, that Clive Barker story.
Yeah, a little bit. So yeah, he's in the sewer. He's taking photos. He's setting up shots, and then he finds some rats eating dog carcasses. So he starts taking photos of that. And then we get this POV shot. The fucking gator comes out. The gator gets him. The camera starts flashing all over the place.
Like, it was kind of like one of those scenes where you could only see when the camera's flash was going off, and you saw like for a second. So it was cool. Like, I don't think those old cameras had auto take on them, but sure, why not? He takes a whole bunch of photos as he's getting killed. He does his job down to the very last second. He died doing what he loved.
Yeah,
eaten by a crocodile.
It was a very unsatisfying death, but fuck that guy.
And we got a hard cut now. Cop is holding the camera, and they're like, we've got his pictures or whatever. They've already developed them.
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, the journo's been found dead. Here's his camera. We've also developed some photos. Here you go.
And they can clearly see that there is a gator there. And the cop's like,
there.
See, motherfuckers?
I was right.
I was true. It's true. But you can't really tell how big this crocodile is, which you could if you're a scientist, I reckon.
Yes.
Like, you would have been able to go, oh, fuck, that teeth pattern is...
Based on the size of those teeth, I detect that it's about... But anyway, they go through... And we see him watching, he's going through these photos. And then, of course, he sees the doctor on the TV.
Also, naysaying him.
Yeah, she's like,
it's bullshit. They just don't grow this big.
Whatever. And he's there and he's like mapping out all these locations. He's like, okay, so I was here. This thing was here. We found dead bodies here and here. So it's like, it could be around here.
Yeah, so it's like, if we get a whole bunch of people, go into the sewer or whatever. And then we cut straight away. It's already organised. It seems like they are making this priority one.
Yeah, cops move real fast in
Florida. So we have cops, we have SWAT, but when the SWAT... I love this. When the SWAT guys get out of their SWAT van, in inverted commas, they're all dressed in army khakis, and I'm
Yeah.
like, that's not what SWAT people look like.
Well, it is when they're going gator hunting.
But then we also do have the army. So basically they've just got like a whole bunch of props. This is like a cop who doesn't, a director or a writer who doesn't know how operations work. Like, so it's just a bunch of people. We have also the public there. They all have their guns and stuff, and the cops are just cool with that.
Yeah. Well, it's Florida.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
So we have there's probably about, I'm going to say there's probably like 200 people here, and they're all in this, they set their base up in an aqueduct. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah, so
but I thought it was really weird because they set their base of operation up in an aqueduct, which has like a foot of water in it, so they're all standing in water all the time.
True. It's very true. But so the cops, the idea is that they've blocked off every entry and exit point except for the one that they're all at because they're going to descend into the sewers.
Make a whole bunch of noise.
And also at one point, like they're walking in with machine guns, they're walking in with rocket launchers.
Rocket launchers.
As well. And they're just going to go in, they're going to make a lot of noise, they're going to draw this thing out, they're going to kill it, it's done.
I love that there's a guy who's like hitting a saucepan with a stick.
Well, they're all doing that, yeah.
Yeah, but like there's like a dude with a machine gun. That's the other thing, like they all had M16s.
Yeah.
Like everyone has to have an M16, but in the 80s.
Yeah.
It was, it wasn't like the AK-47. This is moving on, M16s.
Yeah.
You got dudes with M16, you got dudes with rocket launchers, then there's a cop with a fucking fry pan. Like he's like, oh fuck, man.
He's not allowed to have one. He's clearly shown that he's a little bit too excited by it.
Long and tedious shots of all the cops banging things, making noise, trying to. And there was at no point did that. You think the scientists would have gone, if we make noises, or we can lead it somewhere. You know what I mean? There wasn't any of that. Like
No.
They had a whole bunch of scenes where they could have just said that, but like we just like, okay, I assume that's what they're doing.
Yeah. So the doctor rocks up and she's basically
The
like...
scientists.
Yeah, sorry, scientist. She rocks up, she's talking, she's like, oh, look, this is fine, you'll be okay as long as you don't corner it. And then, of course, she apologizes to the detective for not believing him, and they have, like, a moment.
No, they didn't even have a moment. She's just like, he goes, see, I told you. She's like, yeah, all right, yes. But she's like, but it's still not as big as you said.
Yeah.
He goes, it is. And it's just like, they have no chemistry and they don't like each other. But then she drops the bomb. She's like, you know what? I used to have a gator when I was little, but it died. And I went, oh, you're the girl from the start.
It's like, oh, she's so obsessed that she became a scientist.
But and also, she caused this.
It's all come full circle.
It's her gator. I thought at one stage the gator was going to see her and remember her. He goes, you're the girl that taught me how to catch the bus to school. I'm just looking for a bus. Like,
I would have loved that. That would have been so good.
Because I mean, that doesn't make any sense. Because earlier in the film, when she has the gator in the aquarium, she has a little tiny toy bus in there and a little tiny toy school, and she's teaching the gator about catching the bus to school.
Yeah.
And I thought he was gonna catch the bus later on and then go
Alligator
somewhere.
3 is like where she's teaching all these gators to do things like catch buses and go to schools.
Yeah, just go to school.
It's fine.
Learn. Then she
So
wouldn't have to teach them.
It's
Because they're already at
basically
school.
like nighttime now. The mayor has now rocked up and he's looking for an update. Nothing's happening, but you can hear the sound in the sewer getting louder and louder as these guys are descending on the exit. So nothing. No gator. Nothing.
You know, it's not just that. It's not just the mayor. They have like sandbags out. Like,
Yeah,
the crocodile?
like, everything
sandbags?
is out.
It's not the crocodile's not going to shoot back at you.
No.
They're behind sandbags. They've got rocket launchers. They've got shotguns. There's probably 200 people with weapons. Pointing into this tunnel.
They got all that barbed wire set up as well.
Waiting for what they think is like a 3-foot crocodile. Mind you, at the start of the movie, 3 guys hit it with sticks to stop it, but now they have an army.
Well, that was a different size gator.
No, but they think it's that big still.
Yeah.
There's no reason for them to be there with such firepower if they don't think.
No.
Anyhow.
So nothing happens, but everyone's around and they're just like, oh, oh no gator. What a laugh. What an afternoon.
Everyone's kind of spewing as well that they've wasted their fucking day. Then we cut to some kids that are playing baseball in the street in the middle of the night.
Yeah, so the chief and the detective,
they bail.
They bail because obviously all the journalists are there and everyone's going to want to talk to the detective and he is just not a social butterfly, so they
and he's
leave.
shit at interviews. you know, and the detective and the chief of police, they drive past the kids playing baseball. They're badass kids on the street. They're like, yo, we're playing baseball here. You know,
Car!
where are the Sandlot kids? And the detective and that go past, and then all of a sudden, they're playing baseball, and from motherfucking out of nowhere, smashes through the concrete of the road.
Yeah.
Fucking gator.
Fucking
Smashes
gator.
up. And at this point, I was like, this is wicked.
Yeah.
Because what they've done for a lot of the gator shots is they have a real gator, a good-looking gator, and they've just made miniatures around him to make him look massive. And it looks wicked.
Yeah,
It
it
looks
does.
perfect because
Yeah.
it's a real gator. There's nothing here to make you think. Like, and they've used probably a good lens on the film or some shit to make it look like it's real. And yeah, because, I mean, gators, it's only supposed to be probably double its size, you know what I mean? Like, that it is. So, like, their miniatures only have to be half size. So, they're really detailed, they're really cool. He smashes up through the ground, which is probably foam. They must have smashed an alligator through it.
Yeah, no, they're like, go on.
Yeah, so they've got,
Shoving it through.
And then we get these shots of it walking down the street, and, like, it just looks great.
It does look
because
great.
it's a real gator. And then we also have shots where they've made a full-size 30-foot prop gator, which is clearly on wheels.
Yes.
Because you see it moving. Sometimes it's just floating. But it looks good. Like,
Yeah.
it looks like an actual gator. Like, its mouth looks legit, everything. So they're the two props that they've got. They've got a real gator in miniatures, and they've got this full-size giant gator. And also they probably have a tail as well, because the gator does know tail jitsu.
It does. It really does. But this is all the kids sort of like they run. They all make a break for it. One kid, he sort of runs into his apartment building, but he stands and he kind of watches what happens on the outside. An oncoming cop somehow sees the gator.
He goes, oh shit, and he just crashes.
Crashes his
rolls the car
car.
and it explodes.
The gator descends on him.
Bites
And
him.
basically, this kid watches as the cop loses a leg.
And it looks good. It's good leg
It does,
off. We
it
see
does
the
look like-
stump.
Yeah, it looks good. The kid
Stump
runs
splurting
upstairs.
blood.
Yeah, kid runs upstairs, grabs a butcher's knife, runs back downstairs.
To do
That's
what?
it. Don't know. No,
We get a
no
top
idea.
shot then of the gator walking down the street, like, because it's the real gator just walking along, like this model. And there's also a couple of like matte painting bits they've done as well, where
Yeah.
they've kind of like cut half the model off and put a real street, like a car in there. It looks good.
Yeah.
You can't argue with like the realness of that. And
No.
I reckon in the old 80s, it's fucking good effort.
This looks
I've seen
fantastic.
shit, like so much shit in modern day movies that look heaps worse because they're just like, CG will solve this problem.
It will not. No. And then so the doctor rocks. Everyone's now on the scene. Doctor, the scientist lady, the detective, the chief, and she says like he's gonna go for water. Like he's come through. He's expelled a lot of energy. He's gonna go for water. So he's gonna go for either the lake or he's gonna go for the canal or he's gonna go for this, that, or the other. There's like all of these
You
options.
could go anywhere, really. He's in Florida. You could just go to everywhere.
A gator farm.
Well, there's so much water there.
Yeah.
There's like swamps.
Yes.
Everywhere. Anyhow, also the cop and the scientist lady talk to the kid, and he's like, scientist lady, how big was it? And he's like, oh man, it's like as big as a car. And she's like, it can't be as big as a car. And I'm like, clearly there's people who don't know anything about the case are saying it's this big, and she's still so naysayer about it. She's like, I'm sorry, it cannot be that big.
He's like,
and the cops there like, but
the kid is literally saying it's as big as a car plus its tail. So it's now the morning, and because we see the gator go into a body of water. So they've established that it's gone into the lake. And she's there and she's taking prints of its feet.
a plaster mold of the gator foot. And it's like huge. It's like as big as a
Yeah.
fucking...
And she's like,
Oh my God, it must be like 30 feet long.
yeah, she's like, it's 30 to 40 feet long. But also everyone has now descended on the lake because everyone knows that this gator is in the lake.
Who knows? Yeah, how did they know that? She must have got seen. And she finally admits, I'm sorry, I didn't believe you. And he goes, it's all right. No, it's not all right. No one believes, like, I'd be so fucking pissed off.
Yeah.
I'd be like, you fully shouldn't be a scientist. If you don't think that shit can be different than you think, that's not how scientists think. That's how religious people think.
But the mayor is not satisfied with what is
And
happening
the mayor's
right
a
now.
dodgy cunt.
He is a very dodgy cunt. So
Yeah, he's just all
brought
about
in
votes.
votes and money. He's brought in a big game hunter. And of course, he tells the detective we no longer need you.
We've got big game
I've
hunter.
got big game hunter
And he's
here.
a cocky as fuck game hunter. He's like, I'll fucking get this.
He is so gross. He immediately hits on the scientist girl, and it's just
He hits on every
gross.
woman.
Yeah.
But he starts off going, wow, you're very attractive.
Yeah.
And he hits on
It's like,
every...
does that work? Does that work for you?
Me? No.
You know.
Imagine like someone just came up to you and just went like, oh, you're heaps good looking. Therefore, you are worthy. It basically means you are worthy of me talking to you. Like, it's not like... Anyhow, fucking gator madness has happened. Everyone's in on it. The street vendors have gone crazy. They have gator merch up the wazoo. We have the super cop walking through the gator merch section. We have dudes with rubber gators. We have t-shirts. We have fucking people selling real crocodile gators. We have, it's gone... Gator madness has hit the streets of Florida.
Yep.
As if there wasn't already.
No. This guy approaches him and he's like, "Hey, buddy, I've got a real gator here," and he's just like, "Bust this guy for being a creep." So this guy gets arrested for like selling a real gator. It's fine. But then we cut to the big game hunter on the news being interviewed, and
he starts up and going, "You're very attractive as well."
Yes, and he starts explaining. He's like, "Oh, they respond to sounds," and he starts.
Yeah,
he's
we
like,
know that already.
And then he's like, starts making all these like weird sounds, like.
Yeah, gator making
He's
love.
like,
yeah.
"Oh, that's a distress call," and I'm like, "That's not a distress call of a gator."
I just skipped that bit.
But then he starts, because he gets so gross, and he's like, "Oh, they also are very romantic creatures, side-eyeing, fuck-eyeing," and he's just like, starts making gross gator mating calls to this woman.
Yeah, it's weird. I didn't get it.
It's so gross.
And the cop goes to the ladies' lab, and together they work out that somehow, I don't know how they did this, that somehow Big Pharma is tossing hormone-tested dogs down the sewer. They just work it all out. They look in one microscope, and they're like, this is what's happening. And you're like, okay, you like they waste so much time in this film on shit that doesn't matter. And then the stuff that should have been the detective work doesn't happen. It's just like suddenly they're like, we need a way for him to like work it out quick. How about we just look in a microscope? Yeah, cool.
That's how you do it.
It's like you look in the microscope and she goes, you see that purple stuff there? That says that this dog was in a laboratory getting tested on and then got thrown in the sewer.
That's a growth hormone.
Anyhow, we cut to Big Game Hunter. He's on the streets.
He is.
He finds a gator turd. Yes, that's a big turd.
Yeah, that's one big pile of shit. Of course,
And
the gator's gone off at the moment. It's somewhere else. It's gone into a local neighborhood pool, house pool.
It's hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then cop and lady,
Yes.
scientist lady, they go to Big Pharma,
Yes.
the science lab, and they hassle him a bit more about the hormones. They
Yeah.
make him a bit more on edge, a bit more closer to the truth.
Yeah, and he basically he's like, look, this is a synthetic form of testosterone. The idea of it is to hyperexcite, but the problem with this is it does make them larger, but it also gives them an insatiable appetite.
Yeah. Anyhow, fucking Big Pharma, Big Pharma boss, he hears that, this cop is getting too close to the truth. So he just calls up the mayor. Mayor?
Yep,
Mayor?
one of them.
And he's just like, get rid of that cop. Next. Basically, next shot, Super Cop is in the police station. The chief of police comes out and goes, sorry, you're fired.
He's like, you're off the force.
Yeah, you're off the force. You're not even suspended.
He's like,
You're not. It should have
Okay.
been like you're off the case.
yeah,
He just gets completely fired. I'm like, that's not how systems work.
no, yeah.
So he is now off. He is no longer a policeman.
That's fine. He clears out his locker. He slams the door. He breaks into the evidence room and he steals the timing device of the guy that
Had
came
the
in.
bomb earlier and some dynamite.
Some sticks of dynamite.
The brown bound up sticks of dynamite with TNT written on
They
the side.
should have had Acme written on
Yeah,
them.
they
That would
should
have been
have.
so much better.
Which I don't know what he planned to actually do with at that time because,
I don't know.
that's a Pete's bad vibe to steal from an evidence locker.
He's a man with a plan. But now he's not on the force. He can do whatever the fuck
Now
he wants.
he goes rogue. And so
Yeah.
Super Cop, Science Lady, and random guy suddenly are down in the sewer together. They've decided to go down by themselves.
Yep.
They go down in the sewer, and basically they just say to kick some gator's ass.
I like this as well because he literally goes to the university. He tells her he was fired. And he's like, oh, we're going to go kick some gator ass and I want you to help. And she's like, you son of a bitch, I'm in.
Yeah, you son of a bitch. And yeah, they all split up. Sure, why
That's
not?
what you do.
They find a gator's nest, and they're all like, I think he will return.
Yeah, so they found...
He?
I don't know.
It?
It wasn't established, or
Well,
it was, and
I
I
always
wasn't
assumed
listening.
that lady gators would make a nest to lay eggs.
That's true.
And then that's it. I'm like, that's it? That fodder guy didn't get eaten? Like, nothing?
No, well, they basically established that this is its home base. If it can get back here, it will.
They were been in the sewer area so much in this film, they could have established this nest thing way earlier and not had to have this whole scene.
Yes.
Like, it was just a return to the same spot again and then look around and say, here's the nest.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It was
Even
like,
if you're not a gator expert, you could have been like, there's lots of dead things here and bones and poop, and I feel this is a nest.
Anyway, we cut to a kid's birthday dress-up party. Probably a 7-year-old dress-up party, you reckon?
Yeah.
Going on in the middle of the night. Kids don't have parties in the middle of the night, like a little kid's party.
No, it's a nighttime party.
You know, they go out. There's 3 kids. One of them, they're playing pirates. One of them walks the plank onto the swimming pool and, of course, gets pushed in and eaten by the gator, which was chilling in the chlorine pool.
Yeah. Could have been a saltwater pool.
Could have been a salt. You're right.
But this is really cool as well because, like, it was...
But alligators are freshwater.
I don't fucking know anything about gators. But wait. Can't you have, like, freshwater? No, that's crocs.
Only one of them can do both. I can't remember which one it is. It doesn't matter who gives a shit.
It doesn't matter. No. But yeah, I really like this because obviously it's nighttime and then you get that really nice shot of the really clear sort of pool water.
With the pool
with,
light.
like, the light and then the gator's there. It's really cool. I really like that shot. It's nice.
So cut to the super cop and the lady scientist at his crummy apartment. And then all of a sudden, for no reason, she makes out with him and they have sex.
Well, yeah, he's like, we're going to go out to dinner. But, you know, the problem with going out to dinner is I think that, you know, the whole time, is she going to come back and, you know, fuck me? And she's just like, well, let's just get that out of the way right now.
And I'm like, what?
What?
They didn't even like each other.
No, they really didn't.
It's like someone in the script goes, we should have a kissing scene and then a sex scene. And then, oh my God. Like, and yeah.
Yeah, Robert Forrester really wanted to make out with someone like twice.
For fun.
Yeah.
Anyhow, the hunter, we cut to the hunter. He's on the it's a nighttime. He's on the mean streets and he hires some local badass teams to help him search for the crocodile. And that's it. He bribes them with beer and the $5 cash or some shit. I don't know.
That's a lot of cash.
Anyhow, they're cruising around. The hunter goes down an alley and the teens are like, you know what? Fuck this shit. I'm like, yeah, great hiring skills there. Yeah. Anyhow, the gator bursts out of some trash. It's a trash gator. There was this, which is now just the puppet head bursts out.
Yep.
He lays some shots into this thing with a giant elephant gun, which doesn't seem to phase it, which I'm going to say that I don't care how big. Like, these things, they mentioned it's like an elephant gun.
Well, it depends on where he's shooting. If you're shooting in
its face.
Yeah, no, we've established that gators have a pretty thick skin. So if you're shooting a gator, you're either going to want to aim for the eyes or you're going to want to aim for the soft underbelly.
Yeah, and yeah, the gator hunter gets grabbed and he gets chomped up, and it's this giant.
He always gets eaten like a birdie. It's like
yeah. Look. And he gets chomped up on this giant gator head prop, which looks great. There's blood always splatting out everywhere.
Yeah, but then one of the teens that went down with him just picks up his gun and he's just like, nope, and just runs.
Yeah.
So now he's not got a gun and he's dead.
We cut to cop and lady after their sexy time and they're in a diner, and for some reason the cop is just a jerk to her.
Yeah, well, so another group of cops come in and they basically tell him that, like, the big game hunter is dead. Because the cops know about that for some reason. And then, his whole tune just changes. And he just becomes such an asshole towards her and she just leaves.
She leaves the diner?
And that's it.
What? And I thought, this scene was maybe because he was being mean to her because he doesn't want to get her killed, that kind of thing. I'll be a fuckhead to you, so you storm off and then you won't be in harm's way. No, it wasn't that.
No.
It wasn't that at all. It was just a mindless scene for no reason where they make him a fucking dick to her.
Yeah.
Anyhow, the cop. We cut to the cop having a bad dream, which is just the fucking scene of fucking kid cop rookie getting taken again, but in like a quarter of the speed.
Mm-hmm.
The whole scene in super slow motion with a red filter over it.
Yes.
And it just goes for so long. And it's like, I get it.
He's having a nightmare.
He's losing another. Doesn't matter. He gets straight up, goes to scientist lady's house and says sorry for being a jerk. I'm like, what was the point?
Yeah, but also like she still lives with her mother, so she's
got,
quite
like,
young. But
who's
her
got, like,
mother's
dementia or
yeah,
something.
she's a bit doddery.
She thinks that her daughter is still like
in school.
A young teen,
Yeah.
and she's still going to school or some shit. They don't really address it, or they don't go anywhere.
No, she's just a very chatty lady. And he's just like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm a pain in the ass. Like, can I go see your rock collection in your room? And then they go up and...
There was no reason for the diner scene.
No.
He goes up and just basically puts her onto the bed and takes her again.
Yeah.
And I'm like...
Sure.
The
Why
80s.
not? Yep. Anything's possible. Now, of course, the chief of police this whole time, he doesn't have his star detective. The mayor's involved. Pharmaceutical people are involved. He is beyond stressed.
Yeah.
And, of course, cops on the river, they start...
Heavily armed police boats. They have M60 guns on there, on these things. That would stop a fucking TIE fighter. like, you know what I mean? Like, it would shoot Kylo Ren straight out of the sky. But no, it
does nothing. So the cops, they see the gator in the water and they start shooting. Gator obviously goes down. They're like, where the fuck is it? The gator's popped up just at the right time for the boat to
they
go
just run into it.
speeding over it.
Yeah, they just run into the gator as if it's like a jump.
Yes.
It's also bulletproof because
it
shows
gator.
them hitting it and it's fine.
Yeah, no.
And then they get some grenades out.
Well, yeah, they go to throw a grenade, but they hit the gator and the boat
like the
goes
gator...
off into the shore and then the grenade just explodes.
Yeah. Why did the guy hit the gator? Like, has he never driven a boat before?
Well, never in gator-filled waters.
It just made no sense. It was just like, the gator now knows, like, espionage and army techniques.
He's a smart gator. So, some cops lose legs,
He does
some
have
cops
hormones.
die.
He is a science gator.
Yeah. So the gator's, it's off and about, but it's heading towards Slade Mansion.
Which is the big farmer boss's house, who at this day is having a garden party
It's a wedding.
It was like the reception.
Yeah.
For his future son-in-law's wedding, which is the evil young scientist. Oh, fucking hell. They're having a garden party.
Yeah.
The mayor is there.
Yeah.
Oh, the irony.
Yes. Yeah, so the mayor's there, they're having conversations. We get this POV shot of the gator from the bushes.
Like stalking them?
Oh, it's just in the bushes. Some lady spots it and screams, and then, of course, the gator pops out. A fucking maid's eaten. And then we get this, like...
This is like the bit in Piranha. Yeah, this is like the chaos scene of, like, let's use all the effects. Let's go. We've got as many people here can get eaten as they want.
Oh, this is fantastic because, for some reason, people start shooting. So we've got some chaos guns firing.
Just
people
guns.
fall into the pool. Tables are being thrown. People are being thrown.
Yeah, so the gator starts bashing people with its tail, right?
Yep.
But, it's bashing people with its tail at such a rate that there are more than one or two people in the air at a time.
Yeah, there's people just whew.
It's
pure acrobatics.
In the air.
This is fantastic.
It's like it's like a scene from Kung Fu Hustle.
Yes, it really is.
It's like there are people getting, the gator is purposely hitting people into cakes, into chaos. It is like they've been invaded by an army. There are people going everywhere. And all you have to do is walk off from it. It doesn't run.
I mean, gators are pretty fast, but yeah, you could just...
It just comes up to the dodgy mayor who's obviously
way.
under, he's been paid off by the big farmer man. He gets eaten.
Yeah, so this is like the farmer guy gets in his limo and he locks the mayor out of the car. So he basically watches from the car
mayor, yeah.
as this croc comes and eats the mayor.
So yeah, the big farmer guy's in his limo with the driver in the front and they just don't leave.
Yeah. No, they don't drive off. They just watch this,
The carnage
but
roll
then
out.
the gator starts to attack the car.
Yeah.
So it's basically just like with its tail, it's just like... whacking at the car.
Yeah, it basically crushes the car down so much with its tail whacking downwards, which I can't really work out how it would do, and its mouth, that it crushes the car down so much that it destroys Big Pharma. He gets crushed in his own car, all blood pisses out the car, which is great. There's lots of good blood in this, and it looks good. All the deaths look good. It just doesn't make any sense how the crocodile knows, like, kung fu.
No. Well, you know, he's been down there a while. I'm sure a lot of kung fu magazines get flushed down the toilet.
And our Super Cop and Lady Scientist rock up to the garden party.
Yep.
You know, they're not invited. They have to show their gun. They fucking storm their way in. They rock up and they're like, everyone's dead and shit. He must have gone back to the nest. I'm like, what?
They're like, which way did it go? And they're like,
why didn't he just plant the fucking bomb in the nest and wait for it to come back?
I don't know. So they head back in. Yeah. So they see it in a storm drain. It's heading back to the sewer.
They're back in the sewer now. No, Super Cop is just by himself. He has a backpack. We can only assume that the bombs are in the backpack.
Yeah.
So this is nearing the end of the scene now. That's like, you know, you'd think we're getting near the end.
Yeah. So he heads down there and he can hear this gator like hissing, making sounds.
Like they drove for a day.
Yeah.
To get to this garden party, and then all of a sudden he's just back there.
Yeah, that's fine. He should have just waited, but that's fine.
No, the gator's there. Can the gator just like has an outboard motor attached to it now as well?
Yeah. So, you know, he's shining a light down there and he's watching as this gator approaches him. Like he starts to open fire and, you know, he makes a run for it and of course it follows. And it's all part of his cunning
elaborate
plan.
Plot. He goes into the fart room. He puts a gas mask on. You don't want to breathe in other people's farts. That's gross.
No. So he, you know, he's down there and he's got his mask on. He sets the timer. Like
sets the bomb.
Yeah. He's feeling around for the wall. He's looking for the ladder to get up to the manhole. It's fine. He's set. He sets the timer for 2 minutes. The gator is now hot on its heels, but the fucking gator manages to smack him in the face with its tail.
Yeah, well, of course. It's facing him, and then all of a sudden its tail hits him.
But just knocks his mask off.
What?
He doesn't go flying like everyone else at the party. It just
gator,
knocks his mask.
It pinpointed his attack to just rock them up. He goes, sniff these farts, motherfucker. Anyhow, Super Cop doesn't care. He just like runs up. He runs up the manhole, which is completely safe, because the gator can't get up the manhole because it's so thin and high.
Yes.
But you'd think he'd be safe, but an old lady parks her car over the manhole.
No, this reminds me of the Blob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except he doesn't have a rocket launcher to get out.
No, he doesn't. You know, so the car's parked over there.
Then, are you ready?
He can't get out.
Then scientist lady rocks up, knowing that he is down in that...
Well, he told her that he was going to be there. Yeah. He's like, I'm going to lead it to this particular spot.
But wouldn't she already be there?
You'd think so.
And like be there ready so no one fucking parks on there. She rocks up at the 30 seconds before he like... And I'm like, oh, God.
So she's trying to convince this lady to get out of the car, and in the end she just shoves the woman over and gets in and moves the car.
The cop gets out, we see a shot of the gator as the bomb goes off, and we see it get chunked.
Yeah.
Because they've just blown up their big model. It looks great. You actually see the gator blow into chunks. So you're 100% positive it didn't survive. Like, that's a good one. It's not just like they show an explosion. They show the gator getting chunked. But then we also see the streets explode. Fucking everything explodes. All the methane goes up. Fucking... all the manholes blow up, cars blow up, shops explode, the whole fucking world explodes. They fucking win. The cop doesn't get... you gotta realise he's not a cop at this time. No. He's just a terrorist.
Yeah, they just close the manhole and that's the end of it. But this is also, like, concerning because, like, this whole methane pocket was in a suburban area. I feel that that's a bit dangerous.
True.
Maybe.
And they win.
Yep.
Or do they?
Wicked. No. Because we go back down into the drain and we see another baby gator fall through.
Plop. It's the same shot.
It's literally the
same shot from the start of the film. And then bum, bum, bum. Who would have thought someone else? Do you reckon the cops just flushed the gator down the toilet that was the one that they confiscated before?
Yeah, probably.
Like... Final thoughts.
I fucking love this film. But I'm also a really big fan of the giant creature, like animal
Genre?
revenge film. Yeah, like so all of those 1950 ones, like the them and they. And,
I do love them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I also love?
What?
Eight-Legged Freaks
Yes.
with Arquette.
Yes.
Love that film.
Oh my god, that's such a great film.
I know.
But yeah, so like I love this genre of film. There was a lot of really nice subtleties as well. So like there's a scene in the locker room and there's like this sticker on the wall behind one of the cops and it says like heavy machinery kills. And the whole machine is like
A gator.
shaped as a gator.
Yeah, I saw that and thought it was weird.
So there's all this like really nice little subtleties throughout the film, which I really liked. And yeah, like you were saying, like there is a great incorporation of real gator versus fake gator as well. Like for a 1980s film with a budget this low, I think they did such an amazing job.
Did I like this film?
Did you?
I don't know.
You don't what?
I at the end of it, I was like, did I like it? I feel that it was a pretty simple premise.
Yes, of course.
And they had to really stretch it out to make it make this gator. I love the real alligator used in models. I just fucking, that's to me, I was like, shining example of the best fucking practical effects. I love the giant sized alligator prop that could do kung fu.
Yeah.
But it was basically a textbook oversized animal film.
Yeah, no, exactly what it was. But you got to remember as well. So like I was saying, like in the 50s, these films were like really popular. And of course, in the very early 80s, a lot of those very popular 1950s films started getting remade, like The Blob. And
The Blob's wicked, though. You can't fault that.
We can't fault The Blob.
But then it was set in a very simple time that doesn't exist, where people just did whatever they wanted to do of no consequence.
You're off the
there
force.
was no warrants.
Nope.
There was no paperwork.
No.
It's like cops just did their job. They just came in, and if they had to shoot someone, they shot them. And then just went on to the next case. Like, the mayor, like, you know, he could just fire a cop for no explanation.
Yeah.
Like, you could just bed a woman because she's in your room.
Yes.
Then you could just fuck her off. Then you could bed her again.
I was trying to figure out how old this girl was because it was kind of weeding me out a little bit.
Well, it was set, how many years later was it?
It was 12. So I'm going to assume she was like
12. So she was like 25.
I'm going to assume she was like 24, 25.
And he was like 50.
Yeah.
Half his age. It's a simpler time.
Yeah.
You're a man. You've got a job. You can bed a woman.
Yeah.
She can't say no. She might be a scientist, but no way.
Well, at any point, scientist or not, women always, what's that? Like 32 no's and a yes is still a yes.
Yes.
If you're James Bond.
Yeah, it's true. So I gave this an F for fun and dumb.
Yep. I gave this, I also gave it an F.
It was definitely fun and it was definitely dumb.
Yeah. I gave it an F. It's fun and dumb. I also gave it a J because it is definitely a me film.
Definitely a Jen movie. I should probably give it that, but I just didn't want to.
Couldn't be bothered. That's fine.
Fucked.
Well, that's great. What are we going to watch next week, Dan? It's your pick.
Do you know what I haven't seen?
What?
The Howling.
Yeah, let's do The Howling.
Is it good?
I
can't remember.
Don't know. But let's do it.
All right, The Howling. I don't know what year's that's from.
I think it's 1980 as well.
I haven't seen it at all. So next week,
Howling.
The Howling. Is that the one with the lady with the wolf snout coming out of her mouth as a cover, or is that in Company of Wolves?
That's in Company of Wolves.
Is that good?
I haven't seen it.
God damn it.
I know. Like we say, werewolf films. I've not seen a lot of them. It's not my genre. But yeah, so before we sign off, we just want to take a moment to thank the listeners who have interacted with us over the past fortnight or past months, because it's been a while since we've recorded, just one way or another. So people like Patrick Roberts, Dion Cracknell, Somewhat Awesome Rob, Adam Gillespie, Ian Chapman, Kevin Patterson, Cripsy.
Go Cripsy!
Over at Comic Thoughts.
So if you like comic stuff
and thoughts,
go check out their podcast, Comic Thoughts. Thots. Doesn't that stand for something?
That hottie over there.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Chad Habel, Underground Records, and The Nether Noose.
Thank you very much.
Yes, you have been listening to TerrorVision Horror Podcast with Dan and Jennifer. We are available on all major podcasting services and also on the YouTubes. But no matter where you choose to consume us, please make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment and a review. Make sure you share with all your friends. You can interact with us on both Facebook and Instagram at TerrorVision Pod. It'll keep you up to date with upcoming episodes, trivia, and of course memes that are 100% 3 years old by now. We also have a new website, which I am getting around to doing some more on.
Really?
I chucked up a review for Studio 666 the other day,
Oh, yeah.
which nobody read. That's fine. Whatever.
Did you just share it?
I'm not upset about it. Yes, I did share it
Wow.
on our Facebook page,
Which no one reads.
which no one reads.
It's Facebook.
Yeah,
My mum is on Facebook, yeah.
as is mine.
Until next time, welcome to prime time, bitch.